So that's Afghanistan on the ground. Burnt babies, as I'm going out to try and find Americans or our allies that are out in the city of Kabul to bring them into HKIA, and you're stepping over like small burnt babies, like it's the worst thing ever. Fast forward 3 weeks, we're at the Del Rio River, and there are 400 immigrants trying to cross the river. They have babies up on their shoulders, and the coyotes, the traffickers, every single person that's in the river has paid the cartels to be escorted across the border. Well, concurrently, the cartel is about to smuggle 500 meters up the river 2 dudes with bundles of fentanyl on their back. So I'm dealing with this gigantic humanitarian problem of a few hundred people at night trying to cross a dark, cold, flowing water with babies on their shoulders. And what do the coyotes do? The moment that they start getting close to the shore, they just grab the kids down into the drink, down into the water. Babies are floating, little children are screaming. Why would they do this? Because I have to spend resources of my personnel to flood to try to save these immigrants from drowning in the river. And I have to throw a ton of resources and people at them to try and save them so they don't die in the river. At the exact same time, the resources that I have to use personnel-wise here, they're getting guys successfully onto the shore with bags full of fentanyl as they run into the inland, into the interior. And they know exactly what they're doing. They're making money by moving people while they're concurrently making money smuggling drugs and throwing humanitarian crises at us so that they can move drugs simultaneously. And that's hard for people that are trying to do good. How do you choose which problem to attack? We had a service member that dived into the water to try to save a baby, and he drowned. It took us a week to find his body. A Texas National Guardsman dove in there to try to find a baby that had got pushed off, and he drowned trying to save her.
Is it a matter of resources? Is there not enough resources being put into? Well, obviously, this whole thing reeks of. It's so terrible to say, but it seems like this is a concentrated effort, and not just from the cartel. It seems like this is something that's being allowed to happen.
The benefit of there's lots. I mean, that's a hard question,
right?
Texas has a way different position than the federal government as to the immigration problem, and their approach are almost in conflict. So when you get to like the real bad actors with, sexual trafficking cartel members, drug smugglers, weapon smugglers, of course you're going to see federal assets being leveraged to attack those problem sets. But the large humanitarian problem, the federal government is going to have a way different approach compared to the Texas government. The Texas government is like, no, this is illegal immigration. We have lawful ports of entry. You have to legally come into the United States through a legal port of entry. And then once you are here, we will process you in accordance with what the Department of State says the immigration process is. Because there's a rule, and we're a country of laws, so you have to follow the law. Anything else is illegal. The other side of that coin is the federal approach, which is anybody that makes it across the border, you are now here and we're going to process you, which is insanity.
Why do they do that? Do you think they're trying to bring in voters?
Yeah. It grows the government. It's more entitled people that you have to pay, more entitlement programs that you have to pay to support. Those people are immediately shipped into the interior. I find it comical, and I know people think it's not appropriate for the Texas government. They've been shipping immigrants to some of these sanctuary cities that they have said that they're sanctuary cities until they've actually received a lot of immigrants. And they're like, oh my God, we can't handle this number of immigrants.
Yeah.
And it's like 1% of what comes over the border every single day here in Texas that we have to deal with all the time. The Yankees, those north, they have no idea what it's like to be a border state. And the amount, just the tens and hundreds of thousands of people that are coming across every single day, it's criminal that they're allowing it.
And when did it start? When did it ramp up like this? This was never
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Trump put some pretty powerful laws in place and empowered the federal immigration laws for us at the border to have lots of tools to, one, turn somebody away. If you're coming across and you're claiming asylum, well, you have to go back to your country of origin, or you have to go to the country that you're trying to cross from. And that is where you're going to have your asylum process be determined. You're not going to come in, and we're not going to like allow you to go to San Diego and get to hang out in San Diego until your court date, which is currently happening right now. Right? You make it across. Where are you going? I'm going to San Diego. All right, show up for your immigration court date in a year and a half from now.
And everybody knows this, so that people are just coming across.
That's right,
en
just
masse.
flooding.
It's so wild to watch those videos of just enormous, miles-long lines of people.
Military age men, that it's so heartbreaking. And the men and women, Border Patrol, Department of Public Safety, the Texas National Guardsmen that are working the border, they are so incredible, selfless, hardworking, love America and also love people. They're putting their lives on the line every single day to try to protect these immigrants, but also try to protect the law and the rule of law. And that's a really hard thing to reconcile, is what is the humane thing to do, and is that in alignment with what is the just thing to do? That's hard. But they're amazing.
And then once people are here and they cross over, there's not a real screening process in terms of like who's a criminal, what your history is in your country of origin.
Yeah, you want to get a weird Google thing. Google how many known people on the terror watch list have made it across. And it'll scare the crap out of you. So Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, we have these gigantic lists of people that are on terror watch lists, criminal watch lists. And the number of those that we have captured at the border obviously is just going to be a drop in a bucket of those that have made it across. And, it is in light of what just happened in Israel, where they flew paragliders over borders, over walls, and they crashed through walls, and then they were able to kill 1,400 people in one day. And then you look at the number, and that was 1,000 insurgents total. And then you look at the number of people that have been coming over the border for the past 3 years that we know are radicalized, that we know are on watch lists. It should scare the pants, like just scare you to death. The position that we're at. We're going to have a real bad year.